Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
happy
so
to be
glad
back.
you're back. So at the end of last time,
Mm-hmm.
we left you with, or you were with, those resources that you have utilized in various situations. That ability to be grounded through
Mhm.
your spiritual practice, your yoga mat,
Mhm.
all that, right? Your determination or stubbornness, as you called it. Your sense that, which related to that, I think, is I can do anything if I just put in the effort and really,
Mhm.
you use skin in the game, but also you used immerse yourself.
Mhm.
If you just immerse yourself in it, you could do anything.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that. And then your humor, yeah? Your ability to be humorous but relevant,
Absolutely.
right? And that true ability that I found the most really profound, frankly, because your whole body changed when you talked about it, to be fully yourself and really curious about the other people
Mhm.
around you as the beginning to kind of making friends.
Yeah.
And that you knew that making of those friends, you might not make them all in 1 week
Mhm.
or the first semester even,
Mhm.
but over time, by being fully you and being curious about who they were, those friendships emerge.
Mhm.
So that's where we left it,
Mhm.
right? So what has bubbled up since then? What has come up for you about how you might use those resources as you go to Maine?
Well, I've really thought about how those traits will impact me in my assistantship.
Uh-huh.
So in a professional capacity.
Okay.
And how I can really leverage those
Yeah.
traits that I already have to
Yeah.
make myself a better. So I'll be in residential life for my
Oh.
first year.
Okay.
Which I think will be a great environment for me to
Yeah.
really be able to test not only my capacity as an individual, but
Mhm.
also as a leader for
Mhm.
students.
Mhm.
Because I think there's a way to get respect of a staff without without being off-putting.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to respectfully get everyone on board and
Mhm.
understand each other,
Mhm.
to work as one unit rather
Mhm.
than individual branches.
Mhm.
So,
You did that whole thing
Mhm.
with, you know, oh, you like horseback riding and you
Mhm.
like this and the being curious about them in Rhode Island, right?
Mhm.
And then as we all got curious and we all knew each other better, then we can work together.
Yeah.
So you're talking about that same kind of process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that comes with, like I said, being able to work as one,
Mm-hmm.
especially in residential life where so much of our stakeholders and accountability systems are internally.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to make sure that we're all in the same boat,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the way that what that really comes down to is me not budging in terms of special treatment, for example.
Right.
Oh, well, Johnny had Tuesday off, so that means you can just
Right.
loose example, right?
Right.
And not budging on policies,
Stubborn.
things like that. Yes, but it's not. It's determined. That's what I'm going to say.
No, okay.
I think that
Yeah,
sounds
so we're
better.
moving from
Yeah.
stubborn to determined.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right.
But it's just not. I'm learning how to really actually apply these traits into learning that it's not just about me, that it's about us as a unit, and how that really will commingle with all their traits and aspects and their
Yeah,
personalities. And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of learning how to maintain my resiliency and knowing who I am and my identities, and being able to go in and lead with that while still being able to hear, empathize, and then synthesize their experiences and their
Yeah.
identities
Just
as well.
like you did in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Right?
Um,
Yeah. Except this time you're more of the leader, not just
Mhm.
part of the cohort.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And I think that that's a dynamic that I'm interested in exploring.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've never really been in
Mhm.
a position where I am the direct supervisor of multiple people,
Okay.
and a liaison between multiple national organizations in my school. So
Wow,
I've
yeah.
never kind of had that footing
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And so to be able to see how I can take my determinedness and apply that into this professional role, I'm
Yeah.
really interested to see what the
Yeah.
outcomes will be.
So you have a goal,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to immerse yourself, and
Mhm.
you don't know all the ways you're going to get to the goal,
Mm-hmm.
but that works for you
Yeah.
because you'll discover those ways, right?
Yeah.
So the goal is to get to know everybody and move us together collectively, everybody collectively toward the outcomes that some are dictated to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? That we need to do this and we need to do that, and how can we move toward that, right? So you have a clear goal,
Mm-hmm.
and the pathway to it has lots of resources in it, but exactly what you're going to do, you don't know yet.
Right.
So it's
And-
exploring.
Mm-hmm. A lot of what I don't know until I don't know it, right? As they say.
You won't know until you're there.
And so I just kind of have to, like I said earlier, grab the bull by the horns,
Yeah.
and if there's a problem, take charge of it and
Right.
not let it absolutely boggle my
Yeah.
entire experience.
Yeah, right. So if there's a problem,
Mm.
So in the Rhode Island experience, the internship, what kind of problem arose that you resolved?
So I was in housing there,
Uh-huh.
and I was in their pre-college program, so it was a lot of minor students,
Mhm.
folks under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there's a lot more policy and procedure
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to minors
Mhm.
than adults. So anytime that I had students not at check-in or
Mhm.
not at floor meetings,
Mhm.
not at programs, so on and so forth, it came onto me
Yes.
in a instant, almost parental role where I was like, where are my students?
Yes.
You know,
Where are my babies
I
from?
needed to know
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where they
What's
where they
going
were.
on? Yeah.
And so the way that I would handle that is I kind of learned where all my students would hang out.
Yeah, because you were curious about them.
Mhm.
You knew who they were.
And
yeah.
so, you know, if I knew one of my students was typically hanging out in the quad just outside,
Right.
I would go look.
Yeah.
Because I just knew that by habit they missed check-in because they forgot.
Right.
You know, they were busy or
Yeah.
whatever. So I don't necessarily stress myself out about a
Mhm.
problem like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't do me any good
Mm-hmm.
in that moment.
And you're grounded.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're
But
grounded. Yeah.
I take charge to be able to address it
Yeah.
and figure it out.
Okay.
And if I can preemptively understand why that problem occurred.
Because you know the people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So it sounds like getting to know the people, and you said at the very beginning, you know, last time about people being so important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to know the people so that if issues arise, you have an understanding of what might be going on with that person and why,
Mhm.
where they might be hanging out, any of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the goal of knowing all who we are, we're moving toward this goal.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things in the goal are policies and procedures
Right.
that you
Naturally.
have to do.
Naturally.
You have to do. Okay. Wow. So it sounds to me like from your past experiences, you know how to do that.
To a degree.
Okay. So what stops you? What would stop you from leveraging those abilities?
I think it's really deeply down, it's myself saying, are you good enough to be a leader?
So the leader role is the
Yes.
new piece.
Yes.
Okay. Are you good enough? Wow. So let's imagine that you are. Okay?
Mhm.
So let's imagine there you are in residence life.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this group of student leaders under you,
Mhm.
and then they have all the people in the residence hall
Correct.
under them, right? And so you are leading the leaders who are leading the students. So there's a couple layers. And you have people above you leading you, telling you what you need to do. So there's lots of leadership
Mm-hmm.
going on lots of layers. So let's imagine there that you are good enough. What would that be like?
I wouldn't say that it looks like one particular thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's my own self-fulfillment of success.
Okay.
And I think that's a very subjective and individualized thing.
Mhm.
But for me, that is being able to not, I don't want to say fault someone.
Yeah.
I don't want to fail anybody,
Right,
you know. And
right.
so for me, even like a missed email or communication
Mhm.
is a gaffe.
Okay. All right.
And so I don't want, in that bureaucracy of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
for me to not get something from my students to someone higher up or
Mhm.
vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So if you don't not, you do what?
I don't know.
So what's the opposite of I don't want to gaff,
Mhm.
right? You do want to,
I'd like to be on par with
On par.
everything.
okay,
Um,
all right.
and I mean, I understand there are occasions where, you know, there's more work or less work, so on and so forth.
Sure.
So that's why I say par.
Right, right.
Because I think if you can do everything
Mm-hmm,
adequately,
mm-hmm.
perfect.
Okay, that's good. So being on par.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so one of the factors of you being good enough as a leader is being on par.
Mm-hmm.
From what you've told me, you've been on par a lot in your life.
Well, it's one of those things, though, but I still don't know what their par is.
Oh, so you need to know their par.
Yes. I don't know the
Oh,
course.
Okay, it's ambiguous.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know the course, you
Okay,
know.
so how could you find out?
Ooh.
How could you find out what the course is like, what the par is?
Between the resources that I've already found online
Mhm.
that have been shared
Mhm.
by the program,
Mm-hmm.
I've reached out to a lot of the instructors that'll be under. I'm trying to get just a lay of the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's the funniest thing. I just sent a quick email and was like, if there's any foundational readings,
Yeah,
please let me know
yeah,
that you just expect us to understand.
yeah.
And to me, that was just being able to kind of sense out, you know,
Yeah.
what do they expect?
Yeah.
You know, are they
Yeah.
going to teach me everything I need to know in the class, or
Uh-huh.
is this, you know, some prior knowledge needed?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I don't know why I think their par is going to be different than that of my past.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I just think I am expecting myself to raise my own bar
Mm-hmm.
to really be at the apex of my game.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
Individually,
Yeah.
not even. I'm not talking about like reputation
No,
or
no, no,
notoriety.
I
but
hear that. Yeah, to be the most you
yes,
can be.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So for you, there's par that has to do with their expectations,
Mhm.
and then there's
And then there's my standards.
Then there's your own standard
Yes.
of being the best you can be.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got two things about good enough to be a leader.
Mhm.
One is that you're on par with their expectations,
Mhm.
and the other is best you can be.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's imagine that. So do you want to think about being in the program as a student yourself, the classroom first, or do you want to think about leadership, continue to think about the leadership piece in the res hall?
I'd say switching to classroom,
Okay.
because if I can be genuine, I think that's where a lot of my concern is focused towards.
Okay. All right, so let's go to the classroom.
Mhm.
So you've already done some reaching out to find out what PAR looks like.
Mhm.
What do I have to be prepared? How can I, do all of that?
Mhm.
What else could you do to find out what PAR is about?
I think it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
So one aspect is I'd like to hear from students,
Uh-huh.
their experiences.
Right.
And that already leads into getting to know second-year students in the program.
Yes. Right.
And reaching out to them.
Yeah.
And then it also comes down to understanding my
Uh-huh.
capabilities
Right.
a little bit more.
Right.
And the proficiencies or the preparation
Mhm.
that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to learn how to access that, you know,
Okay.
and actually acknowledge when I have tapped into it, that self-resourcefulness, to be able to say, I did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. And I
Yeah.
can do anything if I just work at it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so those two things immediately flowed together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you've reached out ahead of time to professors and other people. Will the reaching out, are you imagining the reaching out to the second year students happening prior to getting there or after you get there?
Prior.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I'm really trying to get all my ducks in a row.
Before you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
At least as much as you can.
Absolutely.
You know you're going to explore, you know that's going to happen, right? But okay, so prior, reach out to the second year students. And so when you get the PAR, that's when you access your own proficiency. I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. Is that?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, so how do you access your proficiency?
I feel like sometimes it just kind of comes up out of the blue, and
Okay.
then I'm like, oh, I do
know that.
I do know this.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Um,
So what would allow you to know that you can do graduate school?
Good question.
Mm-hmm. What would allow you to go, oh yeah, I can do that?
Well, I honestly think any individual who would have gone through 4 years of coursework
Yeah.
at an undergrad institution would be able to say, I have enough preparation
Yes.
to be able to understand what 2 years
Okay.
will look like.
So any individual, how about you?
Mm. That's such a question that I've been really trying to find the answer to for me
Yeah.
as a person.
How do I know?
Yeah.
How
Because
do I know that I really have what it takes?
Because I don't, and
You
that's-
don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why I said earlier, you don't know until you don't know it. But
Yeah.
until I am at that point, I'm going to be resilient and determined enough to
discover
take it.
To discover it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't let myself get into that failing mentality that, I'm
Yeah.
not prepared enough. I'm
All right.
not.
All right. So you do a bunch of stuff to prepare.
Mhm.
You contact the second year students, you discover faculty, you find out more and more about PAR.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, you're kind of waiting for that feeling of I can do this
Yeah.
to emerge, or you're knowing that it probably won't emerge till you get there.
I think truly the moment that I get off the plane and I get on campus,
Yeah.
it'll hit me.
That's when you'll get it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's imagine that.
Mm.
You're there. Have you seen pictures, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you get off the plane, you get to campus, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling is, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So just try that on.
It's crazy to me to think that I am worth it, like I am worthy of
Yes.
every moment
Yeah. Yeah.
of that program. And to date, I think a lot of it comes from not being able to really take agency in my own experiences,
Mhm.
as a first-gen student,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
Being able to say, in my family, I am going to be the only one to have had this experience.
Mhm.
And how can I own that well before those experiences
Yeah.
happen,
Okay.
to not put myself in a rut or anything like
Okay.
that.
So you're there, and you're going, I'm the first in my family to do this,
Mhm.
and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so put that on. How's that?
That is enough to get me emotional.
Oh, good.
And I mean that. Like,
Yeah.
my family comes from large, extended, poor families
Mhm.
from the East Side and
Mhm.
Chicago. So to be able to not only attend university
Mhm.
for a semester, a
Mhm.
year, 4
Mhm.
years, but to then go into a master's program,
Wow.
it just really touches me
Yeah.
because when I'm named after my great-grandparents.
Oh my goodness.
Cameron was their last name.
Uh-huh.
And to see that their legacy
Yeah.
is this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
really kind of gets me choked up, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
And it's important.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
important. Yeah. So be with that for a minute.
I think a lot of it comes down to in having this opportunity, I want to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want there to be any doubt or hesitation from anyone else, not just
Mhm.
myself, from anyone
Mhm.
else that
Mhm.
this was right for me
Yeah.
or this wasn't.
Right. So there's that little proving thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet,
That's
all
that
the things
stubborn
you've said
part,
about is there's that you have that determined, stubborn piece,
Yeah.
right? That goes, I'll show you that I can do this,
Mhm.
right? And yet, what I heard that underneath was the piece about I'm worthy, and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes me that those two together make the difference.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that they're really mutually exclusive
I don't
from
think
each
they are
other.
either. Mm-mm. I
I-
agree.
I think
Yeah.
they're very much a
Yeah.
core part to who I
Yes.
am.
Yeah. So here you are, you've arrived on campus,
Mhm.
right? I'm worthy, I can do it, and I'm determined and stubborn enough to prove it to everybody else, and I'm the first in my family. So all of that is there as you arrive. How's
Yeah.
that?
That just, now that I'm starting to see how it just builds and builds on me, it's almost like a suit of armor, you know? Like
Oh,
I have all these
You have it.
pieces
Yes,
of
yes.
resiliency and not diligence, but
Well, maybe, but yeah.
But being able to sit and reflect and say, I have all of these things inside of me,
Yeah.
and what I don't know where or why I'm letting one small piece of the big picture
Uh-huh.
tack away at
Yeah.
the whole
Right.
whole thing.
So how can, and plus your meditation
Mm-hmm.
and your yoga mat, right? We
Mhm.
have that, right? So here you are, you're on campus. The big picture is, I'm the first in my family. I'm worth it. I can do it. And I'm going to show you that I can do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I got my yoga mat. So all of that is there. And things are going to come up.
Yeah.
Things are going to come up that do try to sort of say, you're not worth it. How will you handle those things when they come up?
When I know that it's myself telling me those things,
Mhm. Mhm.
I have to sit myself down,
Mhm.
either figuratively or literally,
Mhm.
and take a moment.
The yoga mat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of a crazy thing, but sometimes I'll just take a break to the restroom.
Sure.
And I'll just
Yeah.
breathe
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
for a quick second, walk
Right.
in the hallway, and just, yes.
Okay.
And it's about that grounding for me that
Yes.
I'm telling myself this.
Yeah.
This is my own voice in my head telling me, maybe you won't be great at this presentation,
Yeah.
but maybe I will.
Maybe you will. You did
And
prepare. You did all the things.
precisely.
Yeah.
And if I've gotten my ducks in a row,
Yeah.
there's no reason for me to tell myself that.
Right. And so you take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm. I bring myself back down from that
Yeah.
anxiety. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I bring myself back down.
Yeah.
And something that I've really been trying to work on is reflect on why I let myself think that.
Okay.
I'm like,
Where did that come from?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
like, where did that come from? Was
Yeah.
it because I didn't put a transition on this slide or
Yeah.
so on?
Yeah.
So being able to say, okay, take a step back.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because that was out of left field.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that has been really profound for me to be able to
Fantastic. What a skill.
understand myself
Yeah.
a little bit
yeah.
more.
And you have a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strategy for when you doubt yourself. what you do. Take
Mhm.
a step back, you say, where did it come from? Take a deep breath, and maybe it will go really well.
Mhm.
You know, maybe I have to adjust something, but then you're ready.
Mhm.
Okay. So what if the doubt comes from outside of you?
Ooh. That's where a big part of the stubbornness comes in.
Oh, I can see it. I mean, you just shifted. It's like,
Well,
dare they? How dare
because
they?
it brings me back to that
Yeah.
that artist side that I told you about.
Yeah.
I remember I had a voice teacher when I was in early high school who was like, you probably can't sing this song.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't sing the song for an audition. And I remember very clearly in that experience, I was like, oh, I'm gonna sing it now.
I'm going to sing it now. I'll show
Yeah.
you.
And that is so much of who I am. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you think that I can't, so why can't I just show you that I can?
Right. There you go.
And
Right.
when it comes to a bigger picture of, as like a leader or as a
Yes.
student,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why can't I show you that I
Yeah.
can do this?
Yeah.
It kind of goes to that point of better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Uh-huh.
And at least with something like an audition, it's not anything terrible. So
Right.
I think being able to have that mentality of like, well, why can't I?
Yeah.
Am I not worth?
Why can't I? Am I not? I
Yeah.
just see that. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Okay. So if when you're there,
Mm-hmm.
yoga mat, I can do this first in the family, but it's my legacy,
Mhm.
right? From the grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got my humor, I've got my curiosity about people, and my willingness to really immerse myself and engage. And a doubt might come up. If it's from within me, I have a strategy,
Mm-hmm.
which is to go and take a deep breath. Where did that come from? And be able to sort of, do I really need to change something or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? It might really go well, or that, right? And if it comes from the outside,
Mhm.
I can do this. I can prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what could possibly stop you from succeeding and becoming your most, best you can be in graduate school?
At this point in time, I don't know.
Yeah. I think.
And I think we kind of hit on this earlier. It's like things will of course come up.
Yes.
That's the way that things boil down.
Yeah, life
that's
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And so to be able to understand that
Yeah.
and be malleable in the situation and say,
Yes.
I knew this was coming at some point in time.
Yeah. But
It's
I've got a
happening
plan.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a strategy.
Yeah.
I have a way. Yeah.
That's insurmountable
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
To be able to acknowledge and see that
Yes.
forthright,
Yeah. Yeah.
me as an individual,
Yeah. I
can, in fact, and is in fact worth that experience.
Yeah. And you seem much clearer about that
Mm-hmm.
than you were earlier, where it's like, am I? Now it's like, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what else do you need in that suitcase or backpack or whatever you're going to be? What else do you need there that's going to really strengthen your sense of still some ambiguity,
Mm-hmm.
but I have the goal of being the best I can be, and I have all these resources. What one last thing do you need to pack?
Trying to think if there are particular items that,
Well,
or skills,
whatever.
yeah.
For some reason, that metaphor just occurred to me,
No,
but it
no,
may
no.
not be a thing, or it
I-
might be a thing. Yeah.
I think the largest thing that I need to pack with me
Yeah.
is a sense of patience,
Ooh.
which
Yeah.
I've been told this since I was a young kid. It's the least virtue that I have.
Okay.
So being able to take those breaths and those pauses and those reflections,
Yes, yes.
that is something that,
It's really important.
yes.
Yeah.
And
So it gives you some
especially-
patience.
Yes, because I don't want to, as a leader, blow over problems
Mm-mm.
for my staff or people above me that really should go into more
Yeah,
depth.
yeah.
And I think that's where, those gaffes and things like that come in.
Mhm. If
and
you
s-
leap too quickly.
Yes.
So taking the breath and really contemplating or reflecting is the word
Mhm.
you used, I think.
And
Yeah.
so being able to have that patience with
Yeah.
people and myself
Yes.
is something that I need to pack right in that suitcase.
Pack right in there. Okay, so we're going to add patience.
Yeah.
And it strikes me, you talked about how over 4 years of college, some of your closest friends you didn't even meet till the 4th year,
Mhm.
right? So there was patience there,
Mhm.
knowing that if you just keep doing what you're doing, the people will emerge.
Mhm.
So that's one example that you demonstrated patience,
Mhm.
already. And your use of your grounding processes make me think that if your impulse is in the moment, you also have this other patient piece that says, well, that's an impulse,
Mhm.
but let me just take a step back
Mhm.
and take a breath, take that extra minute.
It's a
Yeah.
self-taught reaction
Yes.
to reflect.
Yes. Wow.
Because otherwise I am so, stubborn and very outspoken.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm bombastic. So to not force myself, but hold myself to that level that I have to reflect.
Yeah.
Because-
you take those moments.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I don't know when or if they'll happen again.
Yeah.
And that's something that comes from my family, is always being taught that,
Yeah.
is to take moments for what they're worth, and when you get
Oh my
them,
gosh. So even though you're the first in the family,
they're all
you're
with me.
still taking all those skills, that determination, that stubbornness,
Mhm.
that seize the moment energy. And so seize the moment can be the impulse.
Mhm.
It can also be seize the moment to reflect,
Yes.
is what I heard you saying.
Yes.
Right. Sounds to me like you have a pretty good pack of stuff.
I hope that the supplies don't run out.
Right?
But
How could you make sure they don't? How could you how will you remember?
Mm.
How will you remind yourself that you have all those resources?
I visually like to see a mantra every day. So for me, I usually have a writing surface or something of the sort that I will write something on.
Okay.
So my current one is to make intentional efforts for what you can and can't change in the environments
Mhm.
that you are
Mhm.
in. And so being able to see something like that, to understand that what I'm feeling momentarily is
Mhm.
not a macro theme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that I need to recharge.
And you have all those resources.
Yes.
So what might that mantra or that visual, so a visual something
Mm-hmm.
that reminds you of these resources, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it would be, it's a self-care component.
Okay.
For me, it's being able to see something and visualize it.
Yeah.
I'm a visual learner as it
Yeah.
is, and so
Mhm.
being able to see something that says, take care of yourself today and
Mhm.
take that moment,
Mhm.
will stick with me through the day.
Okay.
And
So how you're going to remember to utilize all those resources and
Mhm.
remember that you have them
Mhm.
is some kind of visual mantra that you'll create.
Yeah, and I think I hit on this earlier, is that preemptively, if I can get
Mhm.
out ahead of any problems that I might feel, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Or try to do it.
Right, right.
And so that's exactly what that does for me
Yeah.
in the morning, is when I need that recharge by the late evening,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I can just kind of visualize,
mm-hmm.
and then,
It comes back to you.
yes.
Fantastic. So, you said you're a visual learner. I'm wondering if it would be helpful for me to send you an email with all these resources that we talked about.
That'd be great.
Then
I
you
love
could
email.
decide what. Yeah, but you could decide what if anything,
Yeah.
needs to go into your mantra. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah.
I will send all of this, at least what I've gathered
Mhm.
here, of all these resources, and with patience added, right?
Yeah.
But patience is kind of a natural outflow of your groundedness practice,
Mhm.
right? So it's a different word, but it really is part of that other
Mhm.
thing.
It's definitely. It's an external reflection of your internal self,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
patience for me, it's just one of those things that
yeah.
I'm a Gen Z kid. I expect
Yeah.
it instantaneous,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
let's keep it going. So, being able to take moments,
Yeah.
90 seconds here or there is.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, life's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, yeah. So take your time.
Mhm.
Take your time. Cool. Wow.
Miss Gail.
So I'm going to send you this email.
Perfect.
Will you send me? I would love to see the mantra that you come up with.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to send
Yeah,
it back to me so we have
absolutely.
it? And I would also love to know, like a month in,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
when like end of September, October, somewhere in there,
Mhm.
how it's all going.
Absolutely.
Will you let me know that?
I will.
I would love to know that.
I'll be around. Can't
All
get
right.
rid of me yet.
I don't want to. All right.
Miss Gail.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.